स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। Namaste, my dear friends. Today I am going to give you a wonderful video about the brief life sketch of Guru Nanak Dev JI. Since my childhood, the person of Guru Nanak Dev Ji influenced like anything. During my school days, I used to keep a small photo of Guru Nanak Dev Ji in my pocket, and I have the same honor and reverence for Guru Nanak Dev Ji as for Lord Rama and Lord Krishna. By seeing the photo of Guru Nanak Dev Ji, my head bows simply in front of that photo. I have great respect, honor for this incarnation of God. Guru Nanak Dev was born in 1469 and took Maha in 1539. His date of birth is 14th April. Guru Nanak is the founder of Sikhism and first of the Sikh Gurus. He was born in Punjab, India, modern-day Pakistan, and gave spiritual teachings based on the universal divinity of creation. He taught his followers to concentrate on spiritual practices which would enable them to transform their egotism into selflessness. Nanak was born in Nankana Sahib near Lahore on modern-day Pakistan. His father was the local tax collector for the village. There are many accounts which tell of Nanak's early spiritual awakening. He was said to be a precocious child with particular insights into religious teachings and philosophy. He would spend time alone in the meditation and was fascinated by religious rituals. His, his family were Hindu, but he studied both Hinduism and Islam extensively. Although he had a deep interest in religion, he also had a rebellious streak, not always accepting religious dogma. For example, at the age of 11, boys of his age are supposed to wear a sacred thread of caste, but Nanak refused to wear the thread, arguing that caste should not be used as a means of judging a person. Nanak would often debate with religious pundits about the nature of God and true religious practices. Most of the biographical accounts of Nanak's life came from the Janam Sakhis and the Wards written by Bhai Gurdas. The Janam Sakhis were written by Mani Singh in 1487. Aged 18, he married Mata Sulakhani in the town of Batala. They had two sons, Sri Chand and Lakshmi Chand. Initially, he followed his father's footsteps and became an accountant. But his heart was not in worldly life, and he was more interested in spending time in meditation and selfless service to the divine within each human being. His inner spiritual experiences encouraged him to focus more on his spiritual life and spiritual ideals. Nanak was close to his sister Bibi Nanaki, and when she married, the young Nanak moved to Sultanpur. So, Guru Nanak Dev Ji was a born sadhu sannyasi, a born incarnate of God. He he his life, his activity, day-to-day life activities were full of divinity. So his soul was the soul of a some ancient sage, because each and every word he uttered contained the divine message. Nanak was also encouraged by a local landlord, Rai Bullar Bhatti, who was impressed with the unique qualities and gifts of the young aspirant. So he was a great Siddha, a born Siddha. He was having all the attributes of a Siddha. As there were Siddhas in Tamil culture, Guru Nanak Dev was a born Siddha. Although there are many stories telling of the divine potentialities of the young Nanak, his main teachings and realization are said to have begun when he reached the age of 30 around 1499. For 3 days Nanak disappeared, leaving his clothes by the bank of a stream called Kali Ben. When he returned, he remained silent for a while before pronouncing he had received a vision of God's court and had returned to lead people to this divine Amrita nectar. So he was a Siddha. Nanak taught that God was beyond religious dogma and external definition. He said he would follow neither the Muslim or Hindu religion but just God's path. He taught there is no Muslim, no Hindu. This was of social significance because of the political and social conflict between Islam and Hinduism at the time. During his lifetime, Guru Nanak attracted followers from the Hindu, Muslim, and other religious traditions. Guru Nanak received many distinguished visitors but always refused material gifts, believing that spirituality should be given freely and not dependent on financial payment. Even kings and emperors with heap of wealth and vast dominion cannot compare with an ant filled with the love of God. Guru Nanak Sri Guru Granth Sahib. The basis of his religious teachings was the belief in a universal God who was beyond form but who was manifest to varying degrees in all creation. There is but one God, his name is truth, he is the creator, he fears none, he is without hate, he never dies, he is beyond the cycle of birth and death, he is self illuminated, he is realized by the kindness of the true Guru. He was true in the beginning, he was true when the age commenced and has never been true. He is also true now ever. So sorry. When the age is commenced and has ever been true, he is also true now. क्या यार? Guru Nanak, he taught his followers three basic religious principles: selflessness, sharing with others, and giving to those who are less fortunate, but also a selflessness of attitude, avoiding the pitfalls of egoism, pride, and jealousy. Second, earning an honest living, living without deceit, exploitation, or fraud. Third, Nam Japna, meditation on God's name and repeating a mantra. Through the repetition of God's name, Nanak taught that a follower could free himself from selfish tendencies and cultivate happiness. However, Nanak taught it was not just enough to repeat a mantra mechanically, but with selflessness and real zeal. To avoid the pitfalls of ego, Nanak encouraged the following of a Guru, someone who could lead the seeker to avoid ego choice by following the teachings of someone else. It helps to cultivate a spiritual attitude of devotion and discipline. His teachings also had profound social implications. He denounced the caste system prevalent in the Hinduism and taught external aids like rituals and priests were not of importance. Guru Nanak always stressed the inner spiritual awakening. After this awakening realization, Nanak made many prolonged journeys around the Indian subcontinent. This included visits to Lanka, Tibet, all of India, and also to Baghdad and Mecca. He traveled with his Muslim companion Bhai Mardana, traveling in all four directions from his home village. It is estimated he traveled 28,000 kilometers in five major world tour Udasis during his main mission of 1500 to 1524. Fourth Udasi during his fourth Odyssey 1518 to 1521, Guru Nanak wished to visit Muslim shrines. He caught a boat west to Jeddah and then by foot towards Makkah. He travelled as usual with Bhai Mardana, a Muslim, and Guru Nanak dressed in the navy blue dress like the Hajis. One significant story is that in Makkah, Nanak fell asleep with his feet pointing towards the holy shrine of Kaaba. This was insulting to Mohammedans, and one began berating and kicking Nanak, saying he was dishonoring the house of God. Guru Nanak replied calmly, "Brother, don't be angry. I am very tired and need rest. I respect the house of God as much as anyone. Please turn my feet in a direction in which God or the house of God is not." The Qazi took hold of Nanak's feet and rotated him around. But when he lifted his eyes, he saw the Kaaba standing in the direction of the Guru's feet. Whichever way he turned Nanak's feet, he saw the Kaaba standing by Nanak's feet. The Qazi was amazed as Nanak's holiness. Nanak got up and said, "Don't you see that God house is in every direction? I tell you, he dwells in every place, in every heart. He is in your hearts, he is also in mine." When he set off on his first journey from his village of Talwandi, his parents initially did not want him to go. They felt their son should provide from them in old age. However, Nanak felt he had a compelling mission to offer God's real message to suffering humanity, and he felt this mission outweighed his personal family obligations. His fifth and last tour took place around the Punjab between 1523 to 1524. After this final Udasi, he travelled less, living on the banks of Ravi River. It was in the Punjab where Sikhism would take the strongest root. In 1539, he appointed Bhai Lehna as his successor, renaming him Guru Angad, meaning part of you. This began the tradition of Guru lineage. A day after appointing his successor, Nanak Dev took Maha Samadhi on 22nd September 1539 in Kartarpur, aged 70. One Indian tradition states that after Nanak's passing there was controversy with Hindu and Muslim followers wishing to bring Guru Nanak in different forms. But when the cloth was removed from Nanak's body, hundreds of followers were discovered. In this way, both groups were also, oh, sorry. But when the cloth was removed from Nanak's body, hundreds of flowers were discovered. In this way, both groups were able to take flowers and remember Nanak in their own way. So Guru Nanak Dev was not a ordinary human being. He was incarnate of God, and his philosophy and his teachings are like our Upanishads, Vedanta, especially Advaitic Vedanta. He was not having any guru like Ramakrishna Paramhamsa and Maharishi Ramana. So he was of the same level, that of Paramhamsa Ramakrishna and Maharishi Ramana. I have a great honor for, because I am deeply touched by the study of Maharishi Ramana and Ramakrishna Paramhamsa. But before I came to know about Ramakrishna, Vivekananda, and Maharishi Ramana, I came to know about Guru Nanak Dev Ji, because up to class 10th I studied Punjabi and there were chapters in every class textbooks and all. So I am having a great impression in my heart about Guru Nanak Dev Ji. Just by listening the name, my heart is, starts vibrating, and by seeing the photo, my head bows. Is so honored, I think. So, my dear friends, I will try to give more videos on Sikh Gurus, because they are all incarnate of God in one form or the other. So, but I will emphasize more on the teachings of Guru Nanak Dev Ji. Namaskar, मेरे दोस्तों, सत श्री अकाल, Namaskar. Please like this video, comment and subscribe my channel. This is your own channel, my dear friends. Thank you so much. Thank you. Namaste. Namaste.